Hello, my friends. Hello, people in TV land, in the interwebs, in the YouTubia. I'm inviting you in to do a somatic practice with me to help us embody space, three-dimensional space, the sense of vibration in our bodies and being alive through vibration, vitality through vibration, and then also flow, the ongoing nature of being. We are naturally in the flow. So the invitation is to come along. Join me on this ride. I will be talking my way through with you. Take it in as feels good to you. So I'm going to start with space. And here I am. It's Halloween time, pretty close in my Nightmare Before Christmas onesie so that I can really move. I have freedom to move in space all around my body. I have space around me in the room. And we're just going to start playing with this idea of the vertical, inviting in the vertical dimension into your body, the up and downness of being, high and low, the ground below us, the heavens above us, feeling into what it is to move in the vertical up down dimension, right? Up and down. My whole body can go up and down. My breath can go up and down. Any kind of movement, any body part can go up or down. But just tuning into what it is to feel up and down. Maybe you're feeling them both at the same time. Maybe it's one, then the other. Starting to lean into what are your preferences for the vertical dimension? Does it feel good to go up? Does it feel good to go down? What do you notice in your body as you're going up? What do you notice in your body as you're going down? And just allowing yourself to play with that a little bit, listening in to what would feel good. Are there different ways of going up? Are there different ways of coming down? Giving yourself freedom to explore up and downness, vertical dimension, up and down, high and low, the heavens and the earth. And you may start to feel like, oh, I've been going up and down. Now I really want to try something else. So let's add side side. Let's go from side to side, the horizontal dimension. Side open, side across. I can reach out with both hands. I can cross both hands so I can widen my whole body, or I can narrow my whole body. I can come in or go out. Just feeling into the sideness of being, crossing, crossing, crossing side, or even just my head looking from side to side. So feeling into the horizontal dimension, the sideness of your body. What does it feel like to move from side to side? Just feeling into that. Could be one part of your body, could be your whole body going sideways, and it could be much smaller. It could just be the breath. Widening on the inhale, narrowing back in on the exhale. Letting yourself move with space, feeling the spaciousness of being. I think a lot of times people conceive of space, but they don't let their bodies take it up. So, what is it like to really move into space? Move into the horizontal dimension. And let's take it into the sagittal, forward and backward. So, moving towards something, moving away from something, forward, backward. Feeling what it's like to take things forward and to take things back. Moving into the space in front of you and into the back space. Often people don't spend much time feeling or moving into the back space. We tend to be very forward directed as a culture. So invite yourself to move forward and backward. Sometimes it feels like backward is a retreat, but that could be very nourishing. Sometimes we need to just move back before we're ready to go forward. So feeling into the sagittal dimension, sagittal like Sagittarius, That arrow, let's shoot that arrow straight forward in the sagittal dimension. And different parts of our body can go into the front or the back space, forward, backward, finding your movement through that front and back space, maybe finding your breath really bulging forward, hollowing back, feeling the depth of your body. So let's take out big movements and just bring it into smaller movements, more micro movement, letting yourself move forward, backward, maybe a little side, side, up, down. Trying to stick with this sort of purer version of the three dimensions where you're really going, I'm up, I'm down, or I'm side to side, or I'm forward and backward before we go into full on three-dimensional movement. I mean, obviously, this is all three-dimensional movement, but we're emphasizing one dimension as we're moving, just for now, just to become more familiar with space. Oh, it feels really good when I open up, or it feels really good when I move forward. It feels really good when I ground myself coming down. Or maybe it's one where it's like, oh, I'm not so familiar with that space. That's new. So let yourself play with what feels interesting, but trying to stick to these three dimensions. Can happen on the breath level and can happen on the big movement level or the micro movement level, the small, subtle level. But inviting your body to take up space and inviting your own conception of space to just fill out, plumping out your relationship, fluffing up your relationship with spaciousness, with space, with 3D space by actively participating in it on a physical level. Active participation. Here I am, present in the space, taking up as much space as I want to take up. It's There's potential all around me for movement, but maybe places are very unfamiliar and I don't spend much time there. How often do I go to that high place high, really reaching, letting all my fascia elongate, or really widening out side to side, reaching as far as possible from one side to the other, or the backwards and the forwards, reaching into my kinesphere, my realm of potential movement in this very dimensional cross of axis way, right? If I took a shape and put it around me, around these three dimensions, and created a shape around myself, it would be an octahedron on the outside of these three dimensions. Or we could call it the 6 points: up, down, side across, side open, backwards, forwards. And I can move through this space like I'm moving through a scale of, like I'd play a scale on a piano or a musical scale. I can make a spatial scale where I'm going vertical, up, down, horizontal, crossed, open, sagittal, backwards, and forwards. Same thing on the other side: vertical, up, down, horizontal, crossed, open, sagittal, backwards, and forwards. So lots of movement potential. I'm going to take it out of just the three dimensions and start to mix them. So I have forward, high, and open. I've got all three. I'm going horizontal, vertical, and sagittal. And when I mix the three, the movement becomes three dimensions together, right? I'm reaching into these diagonals. There's more potential for spiraling. And if I had a shape outside of me on these three-dimensional movements, it would be like a cube. I'm in a cube, the way that I'm doing it right now. It could be something else. It could be I'm moving from plane to plane, and then my platonic solid would be an icosahedron. And I can teach all of this if you're interested. I'm going to do a movement for meditators course about depth practice and embodiment, bringing it in so that it's not just a concept, but it's a physical relationship, a physical sensation of being in space. So we're going to take it in to vibration. And for vibration, we're going to use a breath sound. So if we look at everything on a like quantum level, it's all particles and waves, right? It's all vibrations and things happening. The way that we hear sound, vibration, even like currents of energy are sort of these fluctuating, vibrating pathways. So or currents, right? Energies that are moving. So let's use this breath. It's called the Jacques breath. It's a breath from Continuum, the work of Emily Conrad and Susan Harper, many other people. And it's like you're going to zh, zh, z, z, z. You're making a zh and a z, and there is no k, but we could add it. And we're going to free up our patterning. So, like, we're not going to go zh, z, zh, z, zh, z, and become rhythmic. We're going to go off piste and rogue, and we'll add any kind of shifting and changing with the zh, 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 z's. So, I'm going to come a little closer and show you. It's like so I'm letting my face free up. I'm bringing in that vibration. I could put hands on. It'll be especially easy to feel it in your jaw or in your bones as you do this breath. So inviting you to participate with the Jacques breath, hands on to feel the vibration from the surface, but you may easily also be able to feel it inside. So we're going to try it with eyes open, try it with eyes closed. Let's do it. And just notice what you notice. Let's make this like a playground of exploration, that you're in the free, open, experiential laboratory where you can feel however this lands in your body. So maybe micro movement wants to come up, so little teeny adjustments. Maybe macro movement wants to come up, or maybe you're like, oh, I just want to feel this in a different location. So feel free to let it be your own. This is your relationship that you're starting to develop. And if you're worried about, oh, am I doing it right? Just let go of that idea. There is no right or wrong. This is just learning and experiencing what's happening. Play with that Jacques breath for a little while longer, letting your body move in any way that feels interesting. We're not shutting down our bodies, we're inviting them into full dynamic, biomorphic participation with us. You can play with kind of opening and closing your face, your mouth, so the sphincter muscles of your lips opening and closing, and just feel how that shifts the sound for you or shifts the sensation. And we're not going in to come out with an answer. We're going in to just simply experience. Information may come up or answers may sort of come up. So as I do the zh, I feel like my sensation feels very open on one side of my face, and the other side feels a little more dense. So I can kind of move the zh sound into that denser area and see if I can let that break apart a little bit and be more expansive, right? So we're using this idea of spaciousness again that we started to bring into our body to to dance with the vibration, creating aliveness and vitality in our body. Taking resting breaths whenever you need them. And I'm just kind of going in here to feel what's going on. Letting my head, neck, and spine free up, and inviting in micro movement on a three-dimensional level so that I'm letting Up, down, side, forward, backward, and any combination come in. Yeah, since I've been doing the jacques and feeling that little bit more condensed feeling, I want to start to just open it out through my body. So I'm inviting in micro movement and flow, right? I'm bringing in the flow. And whether or not I feel like I'm in flow, I am flow. We are alive in the flow of life. Fluids are moving through our bodies at all times, as long as we're alive. And even when we die, I think there's like decomposition is sort of fluid too. So as we're alive, we've got blood flow, we've got lymphatic flow, we've got cerebrospinal fluid, we've got movement, we've got breath, right? So all of these flows are happening in our body. Even if I hold my breath, there's still fluid flow. I'm not stopping that, right? And the interesting thing, like in fluid flow, in the heartbeat, in the blood flow, it has a rhythm which might change slightly, but there's like a push and a soft, and a push and a release, and a push and a release. There's this dynamic uh, tension flow that's shifting at all times. So we're inviting that in, this idea of tension flows that shift and change. So it's not that all tension is bad. We want to be relaxed, and but we also want to have like our tensions to be happening in a rhythmic, biomorphic, dynamic pattern with our body, so that we're working towards our health and towards our vitality, so that our systems, our heartbeat, our breath flow, our endocrine system, our nervous system coming in to a coherent patterning where we are able to process life and heat and food, metabolize and heal, right? And then also upregulate so that we have energy. So we're not just going down regulate, down regulate. We're also bringing in this balance of going maybe to the place that we need more of, right? If we're really kind of condensed and down and in, we might need more up, open, out. Or if we're really out here all the time, sometimes we just need to come into ourselves more. So you can see in movement what I'm doing, like radiating out, going out, opening and expanding into space, and then coming back in. And I'm working with this idea of kind of growing and shrinking with the breath. So I'm opening out. As I inhale, I'm coming back into myself as I exhale. I'm tuning into that breath flow with expansion. And then I don't want to say contraction, but condensing, coming back, growing away from center, coming back into center. So I'm making this pattern. I'm putting this into my body. It's not just happening by itself, it's a combo. I'm breathing and expanding, and then coming back in on the exhale. Inviting any other types of movement to come into that as I tune into the idea of the breath flow harmonizing with the fluid flow in my body. And I'm going to do an experiment. I'm going to add sound for this. And maybe it won't come up. We'll see. This is Jeff Gersh Ambient Fields. This is the first album and the first song. And I'm going to let the music also feed the movement. If the music doesn't come up, I'll put a link in and you can put it up on your computer and find it. So once my body starts to take in the music, I'm slowing down. And the more we slow down, the more we sort of get into this internal awareness of movement and flow, maybe vibration and space, the more we allow our system to process, the easier it is to come across the little tensions and holding patterns that aren't serving us and go, oh, maybe I can let go of that. So for me, this type of work and non-dual meditation practice together have really opened up my life to be much more spacious and equanimable. The spaciousness was already there from the Laban Bartenieff work, but bringing that into awareness practice and deep somatic practice, deep meditative practice has really shifted for me the way that it feels to be in the world in a very helpful manner. Just letting go of some of the tightness and some of the grasping and letting myself be more skillful in my interactions. So that's the invitation to soften whatever hard crustiness is in you, whatever kind of grouchy resistance is holding on, and just see if you can give it a little more space, just a tiny bit more spaciousness. Does it need more up down? Does it need more side side? Does it need more forward backward? Can I tune to the flow that I am in complete and total relationship at all times with everything around me? As long as we are alive, we will be embodied. And if we did take our brain out of our body, without our heart, without our guts, whatever lived would be very different than who we are and how we experience being. So much of experience comes in through our physical bodies in this biomorphic dynamic process of being, right? Even if I'm laying completely still or seated completely still, inside my body, there is movement. In my breath, there is movement. So, inviting that in, this relationship to vibration, to flow, and to space. Spacious body, spacious life, ways of being, different ways of attuning to being that are interesting and fascinating. When we let go of our old cultural conditioning of how we should be and who we are, we start to open up the capacity to be different, to allow possibility. If you want freedom, try being free in your body, right? There's free flow, it's childlike, unstoppable. There's also bound flow, which is more contained and condensed. But think of like water. Even water moving through a channel, there's still some freedom into how it moves, right? It's not just going like that. It's going, it's moving in all its different ways. Each molecule of water is renegotiating its internal space all the time in relationship to everything around it. And we are bodies of water. We are flow. As long as we're alive, we're in this living process of being. That is a flow too. When we're holding a lot of tension, that's masking sensation. That's masking our awareness of what's really happening. So when we start to release some of the holding patterns, maybe we can come into more integrated presence in being, more integrated relationships within our own body, because we're not blocking what's there. We're allowing it. We're not setting ourselves apart, objectifying ourselves. We're in participatory process, and it's fascinating. If you didn't know how to move, if you didn't know what a human body was, and you just arrived in these sensations, in this body of water, how would you move? How would you learn how to move? If you didn't have other models around you moving their way, if you were like, "Oh, I'm just here, what is this?" How do we open to that kind of discovery of the moment in our own body? freeing the pattern, playing with these ideas of space, vibration, fluidity, and flow. If you want to tune more into feeling, close your eyes. You can also do this on the floor. I'm going to come down to the floor and roll around. Nothing like rolling around to hydrate the tissues in your body. So let yourself yield into the floor. So it's not something to fight against. We're not fighting against gravity. We're dancing with it. We're tuning into it. Even finding the levity of the breath wave. Breath is going to come in, whether I think about it or not. Letting me pour myself around. And as I'm pouring, the sort of fractal inner body is readjusting on energetic levels, on fascia levels, physiological levels. And even on my definition of myself, the experience of being. Bringing in as much compassion, equanimity, gentleness with for myself and for my cells. So, yeah, even as I'm here on the floor, I have a small injury that I'm very aware of. It's easy to feel pain when we come into our bodies, but can we also feel what feels good? And can I, like, with for me, the small injury is in my hip, and rolling really helps. So if I can relax the tension around that hip and just let the muscles melt into the floor, let the bones connect to gravity, let the tendons and ligaments and fascia kind of smooth and fluff with the movement, then taking care of myself and taking care of my injury can be quite delicious and interesting. Also, feeling into what feels good. And when I really slow down and come in, I feel the vibration of my body. I feel the vibration of my nervous system. I feel the vibration of being alive. Inviting my higher self to be with me at all times, participating in the experience, right? Inviting my own relationship to my higher self to really come online. And I feel like in many ways that is very much feeling what you feel. When you feel what you're really feeling, when you feel and you let it move through you, we don't have to hold on to the feelings. We just let it move through us. Gives us tremendous freedom. Nothing is sticking and blocking, just letting it move. Noticing our awareness, allowing our awareness to contact our awareness, right? Coming into that presence of, oh, this is what's happening right now. This is what I'm feeling. Here I am having this experience. And what is this experience? As we let go of more, we are capable of taking in more, right? Oh, I let go of this thing that I was trying not to feel. And now I have this space to feel something new. I let go of this judgment that I was holding about myself or about someone else. And now I have a little pea pod right here joining me. Yeah. And now I have this freedom. I have this openness. There's some expanse there. Shifting and changing and growing happens as we allow the novel to come in, the new idea, the new sensation. And we don't go there by repeating the old one. We go there by opening up and seeing what's different, what might be different. If you're new to me, don't worry about the peapod. She's a Manx cat. She was born this way. That is her tail. Everything allowed in the moment, right? We don't need to push it away. We can just go, oh, that's what's happening. Taking out the efforting of pushing away life and allowing it to be there doesn't mean we aren't smart about how we respond to things. It gives us more capacity for being integral in our behavior because we really know what we feel on a body level. Like my body's been telling me something. Maybe I should listen to it. Maybe it needs more rest. Maybe I need healthier food. Maybe I need to go outside. Maybe I need to call my mom. Probably now I need to call my mom since I just said that. Anyway, taking in what's happening in the physical because our bodies are so intelligent. There's so much information. Can we embrace that? Draw it in, hold it lightly so it can shift and change as well. Oops, that was a very short cutoff of music. I'm not sure how it'll work out for you guys, but let's just take a couple of minutes to finish it off in stillness and silence or in movement and silence. Just allowing your body to process the processing. That was a lot of information on a body level. So sometimes we want to recuperate from recuperating, right? When we first start to clear the decks, or even when we've been doing it for a long time, sometimes there's still some sludge in the sluice gates. Sometimes it takes a while for that stuff to clear before things run fluid, smooth. And the nature of life is that more stuff is coming in all the time. So it's not like a practice that you do once and then it's done. It's not a one and done. It's a relationship that's ongoing and continuous. And each time that we come in and experience ourselves and ourselves, it's going to be slightly different. So don't get too locked into how you think things are, who you are, what's actually going on. Just let it be a little more open, a little more diffuse and spacious, and that will give you more spaciousness in your experience. There goes the pea pod. Thank you. If you made it this far, bravo. Consider supporting these. Consider coming to an actual class. They are on the Berkeley Alembic website and also through my website. So Laura V. Ward or Berkeley Alembic. Thank you. I hope you have a wonderful day or night or morning.